contracted by a private investigative firm to look into Trump's background. Steele, a veteran operative, drafted a series of memos describing information about compromising material that Russian intelligence services had purportedly obtained on Trump. In addition to outlining allegations of illegal business practices that might result in Russia having leverage over Trump, the Steele dossier, as it would become known, also included tawdry alleged details of Trump's sexual proclivities and illicit acts conducted while in Moscow. At one point, Steele thought the information so potentially damning that he approached the FBI and provided it with his reporting. In fact, Steele was not the only one concerned that Trump might be in a compromising position with the Russians. Two powerful Republican senators had already separately approached the FBI director, expressing their dismay at the revelations the former British spy had possibly unearthed. In November 2016, when Comey was speaking with legislators on Capitol Hill, Senate Intelligence Committee Chair Richard Burr pulled Comey aside to warn him of something very troubling. Their conversation had gone unreported until now. "There is some material circulating," Burr whispered cryptically. "It has some disturbing things in it. I just want to make sure you're tracking." "We are," Comey said. "I don't need to know any more about it," Burr said, expressing his respect for the FBI's independence in addressing possible counterintelligence threats. "I just felt like I needed to make sure you were aware." Then in December 2016, Senator John McCain called our office and indicated that he needed to see Comey. He brought with him a single envelope, the contents of which were a mystery to us as the senior statesman slowly walked past me and down the long hallway into Comey's office. He had returned from the annual Halifax Defense Conference in Nova Scotia, Comey later told me, and someone he knew had given him Christopher Steele's material. He had read it enough to realize he needed to give it to me. "I don't know what to make of this," McCain had told him, "but I know enough to know you should have it. You don't need to talk to me about it ever again." "Thank you," Comey responded. He did not acknowledge that the FBI already had the same material. The four intelligence chiefs decided Comey should brief the incoming president on the salacious material one-on-one, both because the FBI had originally received the information and because Comey was the only one in the group who was guaranteed to remain on the job when the new administration came in. Unlike the heads of other intelligence agencies, the director of the FBI serves a statutorily mandated 10-year term, and Comey was in year 3. Conscious of the personal embarrassment the sensitive brief might cause the president-elect, the FBI director opted to discuss it with Trump separately at the end of the larger briefing on Russian interference. As our two dark Suburbans neared Trump Tower, we faced a predicament. We were early. Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, CIA Director John Brennan, and NSA Director Michael Rogers had all flown into Newark Liberty International Airport and were still fighting Midtown Manhattan traffic, even with marked units from the NYPD clearing their path. There was no way Comey wanted to arrive ahead of the others and break the united front the agency heads had agreed upon, and he also didn't want to find himself sitting in some reception room with Trump transition staffers engaging him in chit-chat, something he loathed to his core. I had learned this about him early on in my tenure as his special assistant, when Comey was set to join an elected politician at an event, and I'd assumed that I should carve out time for the two men to meet privately beforehand to catch up. "You assumed wrong," Comey had said dryly, taking a blue felt-tip pen out of his jacket pocket and crossing that part off the draft schedule before him in an overly dramatic fashion. It wasn't that he disliked the person. He just had little patience for politics. "I also see you've seated the two of us together," he'd said, striking through the seating chart with another stroke of the pen. "You sit next to him." On our drive to Trump Tower, I asked the agent seated up front to slow our roll, and he eventually found an open space a few blocks away where we could pull over and wait for the others to catch up. "Do you have the laptop?" Comey inquired, the third time he had asked me that day. "Check," I replied, pointing to the vehicle behind us, where an FBI communications specialist sat with a secure bag containing a laptop computer that was certified for the transmission of information classified as top secret. Although the FBI director travels with an array of specialized equipment that keeps him connected 24/7 to the White House and the rest of the nation's command authority, this was the first time in my 9 months working directly for him that Comey had ever asked me to make a laptop available to him immediately following a meeting. This may sound like a menial task, but Comey wanted me to understand that it was a vitally important one. Aware of the unprecedented nature of an FBI director confronting a newly elected president with explosive material about his personal life,